Hey everyone, today I've got my Black Widow movie review. So, Marvel has finally decided after all these years to make a movie about Black Widow. Was it worth the wait or a complete waste of time? So as far as the story goes, directed by Cate Shortland, this long overdue movie in the MCU gives Black Widow a chance to have her first solo outing, and it is set in the past during a timeline of another Marvel movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which didn't bother me considering that normally Marvel movies just keep going forward in the timeline and not exactly backwards, with the exception of Endgame. And they are showing where it all began with Natasha, and it is to find this place called the Red Room. And now we get to find out also what happened in Budapest, and that was teased several times before in Marvel movies. Now, speaking of Avengers Endgame, this movie might be a little weird for some of those viewers who saw that movie because of what eventually happens to Black Widow. And this movie, however, gives an engaging background to this character, and I feel like it all makes sense now, seeing where she came from, how she grew up, all that stuff. And the opening credits scene alone with the cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I have heard before seeing this movie, and I absolutely love the version of that song, and it actually worked really well here, and that was, really great because it set the tone for this movie that I feel like I hadn't expected to see from Marvel. So, it was definitely exciting to see, okay, you have my attention, now let's see where it goes from here. So as far as the casting goes, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, was actually surprisingly decent in this. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of her character when she first appeared in Iron Man 2, and then the other movie she was in, I just didn't really care too much about her character compared to some others. But this movie actually made me understand her character a little bit better, seeing how she grew up with this family before having to go through something that was, completely out of her control. But watching her go on this path of discovery was also nice too. You've also got Florence Pugh, who plays her sister, and she was definitely the highlight of the movie as Yelena, and I felt like, she was hilarious. She's cracking jokes, but you can still take her seriously. Her stunt scenes were also pretty amazing, and I hope to see more of her character because, she was just that good. She was that impressive to me in this movie, and I've seen some of her previous movies that she's done, so I feel like she does have range, and it definitely proved here in this movie. Rachel Weisz as Melina, aka Natasha's mom, was also nice to see because not only is she one of my favorite actresses, I really liked her role in this movie. I thought she was badass and she was wise and, had some great interactions with the other characters. David Harbour, who plays Natasha's dad, as well as this red-suited character known as Red Guardian, gives this multi-layered performance where one minute he could be having this heart-to-heart with his family, and then the next thing we get to see him kicking ass. The things that I liked about this movie was that the action scenes made me think of other movies I had seen before, like Mission Impossible, the Bourne movies, and even Bond. And it had by far some of the coolest car chase scenes. I enjoyed watching them, and I thought they were pretty cool on screen. And seeing the stunts, I was also very impressed with. At times it made me think of John Wick, but I definitely like John Wick more, but man, it was really cool. And the fight scenes, were not terrible. So, I also really liked seeing the cinematography that I think looked pretty cool in some scenes. Unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that there was a scene in the third act that I felt looked unrealistic and over the top, especially for a character like Natasha, who doesn't exactly have superpowers and therefore wouldn't have been able to really come out of that situation unscathed. And it just seemed a little crazy to me that they still bothered to put that in. And if I remember correctly from Avengers Age of Ultron, thanks to Wanda and her powers, you're shown this glimpse into Nat's past. And, you know, I was hoping to see, you know, that was like the one reason why I'm sure everybody wanted to see a Black Widow movie made in the first place, to see, you know, her story. And, you know, I feel like we still don't really get that here. And because this movie is technically a prequel with regards to the rest of the MCU still going on, and when it didn't happen, I just felt like why should I still be invested in her character? There also was this antagonist known as Taskmaster, which I didn't know about from the comics, that even though they looked pretty cool as this character, but I just felt like they were completely wasted in this movie. And I honestly was confused with what was going on when they revealed who was under the mask. And at the end of the day, this was just another typical Marvel movie that didn't seem special or impactful, despite it showing this post-credits scene that some might actually enjoy or get emotional about. But I just didn't feel emotionally attached to this movie like I had been with, you know, some of the, you know, past couple of Avengers movies. And this one just seemed pretty basic to me. So overall, I would say that while some things I did enjoy about this movie, I honestly feel like they took way too long to make this movie. I don't know where I would put it in the MCU. Honestly, if they wanted to have her introduce her in phase 1, they should have put out a movie during that time, like all the other solo movies. So now I just feel like it's too little too late. So I would still recommend seeing this movie. I mean, you might enjoy it whether or not you're a Marvel fan. So I would give this 3 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Black Widow. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys later.